There we go. All right. There we go. Welcome back for the final race. One last race. Broke Boys Tier 2. Round 18 of the season at Shanghai in China. The last race of the season. The last race on this game. So let's make it a good one. And we've actually got a championship to wrap up for once in Broke Boys. Unbelievable, I would say as well. It's the Constructors Championship. It's AlphaTauri or Visa Cash App RB versus Alfa Romeo. And AlphaTauri are leading the championship by 12 points going into this range, meaning if Alfa Romeo outscore them by 13 points, they can crown themselves world champion. And especially with both full-time AlphaTauri drivers absent tonight, it's very much a possibility for Alfa Romeo to close that gap. Let's see if they can do it. Podium predictions: Skokiller first, Wardy second, Tenkan third. That would be insane if Skokiller managed to win this one. That would be quite the way to win the championship as well. I'd love to see that to finish off this season with a Skokiller win. Very much deserved after what happened in Bahrain quite a few weeks ago. Anyway, here we are in qualifying. It's quite overcast. The sun is definitely not out. But well, here we have the Alfa Romeos, Skokiller and Wardy. Wardy turning up once more, try and get themselves the championship. And we've got the man himself, Harbin, driving for Haas. Not sure if he's gonna do a lap, or if he's gonna stay in and try and challenge from the back of the grid. It's gonna be interesting. He is tier 2 pace after all. We see Paul Ray on his out lap. One of the first ones, actually the first one on his out lap in the Ferrari. Alan's driving in tier 2 as well tonight. Of the tier 1 drivers to drive in tier 2. But Toto is out on intermediates. Skokiller retiring from the session. I forgot to mention it, but he's got a quali ban. 2 actually, so he'll start off next season with a quali ban as well, which is very nice. But he will have to start from the back of the grid as well tonight, which is gonna make their job to win the Constructors Championship a little bit more difficult. But, like we've seen yesterday, anything can happen. A late safety car can bunch the pack up and spice things up. Plenty of opportunities for that race, but we'll have to sit out this qualifying as we gonna take a look at Paul's race. He's gonna be the first one to start that lap, and hopefully set a lap time into turn 1. A turn that never ends, going right and right and right, getting a very wide line and switching to the left. acceleration is also very difficult out of this turn, especially when without traction control. End of sector 1, 24.3. Let's see if Allens can beat that. Certainly can, but only by a few thousandths or hundredths of a second. We're pretty close to start off with. Bobby. Can't help it. Purple, purple. Ferrari. You can say it like that as well, if you want. Breaking into the hairpin. The slowest turn on the track. Down to the final corner, which is going to be a bit tricky with track limits. Hopping over the inside curve though. Definitely playing it safe and across the line for a 32.2. And then it's Allens behind. Let's see if they manage to get a better lap in across the line. Certainly hasn't. 32.7, half a second off at the moment as Raiden goes to the top for Williams, already into the 136s or 136 31.6, barely ahead of Charles, who slots into second place, half a tenth off with a 31.7. His teammate Tortoisi is on the intermediates, so his lap time won't be representative at all. C37s. Just a lap to test things out, make sure everything's working. As Frenchie across the line, also on the intermediates. Slots into 6th. Suzuki Zion into the top 3. First time I've seen them on track. 32.0 to start off with. I've heard from reliable sources that there is going to be some rain in the race, not in qualifying. It's going to be wet to dry. That is going to make things very interesting. Certainly don't want to miss that. Well then, everyone going into the pit lane rather than finishing their lap. Lil D the one about to start their lap in the AlphaTauri, having to do the work for the AlphaTauri team, but invalidating out of the final corner. I think that's going to invalidate his next lap as well, so that chance ruined. Yeah, so Lil D the one and Suzuki Zion are going to have to do it for AlphaTauri. What's going on here? Frenchie having a moment with one of the Alpines. Both of them. Whoa! Going into the pit lane with a big drift there from Frenchie under braking. Almost doing a Hamilton there, but pushing way too hard. Going into the pit lane now. But Vortex Legion in the Red Bull up at the P5. Here we see Wardy. He's going to be important tonight. But he's invalidating out of the final corner. What was the lap going to be? A 31.6. It would have been good enough for P2. But it's not going to count. And he's going to have to try again. Power commentator. Thank you very much. Of course. Always. Always here. Jesus, the man himself, about to start his lap, or has started his lap. Making quite the impression a few weeks ago in Zandvoort. He's had a chance for the win despite being a tier 3 driver. It's very impressive stuff he's shown there. Let's see if he can replicate that tonight. Turn 1. His teammate for tonight, Arbon, is gonna start at the back. See what can they do later on, especially when it's gonna rain at the start. Jesus, I don't know what his name is. But, I'll change. 51.9, purple second sector. At the moment, not sure if it's correct, but we'll see at the end of the lap. Lap time's always a bit glitched on this game. Now that long back straight, DRS going open very late, actually almost halfway onto the straight. Open at rear flap. Now into the hard braking zone of the hairpin. Just one corner to go. One crucial corner. You can easily mess up if you just got a little bit too wide. You can direct by the curb. But he doesn't do it. And across the line, 4:32.4, and up to P7 for his banker lap. Looks like Roy is about to try again as well. There's Tentcannon with a 53 flat in the middle sector, a bit of a traffic jam in the final sector. And across the line for our most recent race winner. And Tentcannon, she puts it in P10. And sliding off in style in turn 1. There's certainly more in that. There's still around 9 minutes left, so plenty of time to improve and try again. Teammate Bros is on the lap as well. One of the drivers yet to set a lap time. This corner is very tricky with traction. It's going to be even trickier in a few moments time at the beginning of the race when it's going to be wet. Easy to go a bit too trigger happy on throttle and lose the back end. Ultimate corner. Whoa, 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 and that's talking about losing the back end, and that's one example. Although it's out of the hairpin, and that's front wing damage as well for Ross. That's gonna have to pit and change that front wing and try again later on in the session, but not optimal. Wardy has finally found a lap time across the line for 31.9, but I think he's done a few laps on these tires, so there's definitely more in that. Only 3/10 off Raiden. Raiden still looking for that first win, but pretty quick tonight, and he certainly got a chance as Sean now goes to the top for a provisional pole position, 1.5 tenths ahead of the Williams driver. And now Sakir goes to the top with a 31.4. That came out of nowhere. He did pretty well, I think, yesterday in the Tier 1 race. Certainly had a bit of practice. Now he is finding himself at the top of the timing table. As Tordos moves up to P3, he only did a lap on intermediates a few moments ago. And now he switched on to the softs and has done a 31.5. It's relatively close at the top, as it always is in Tier 2. Allens and Pulse Ray both have gone for their second laps as well. So Allens has either backed off or is going to pull straight into the pit lane. Or is about to start their lap. Straight into the pit lane. And I think Pulse Ray is about to do the same. So the other drivers pulling into the pit lane to try and prepare themselves for the final runs. 5 minutes on the clock. Ted Cannon, though, is on for a very good improvement, 8 tenths up in Sector 2. Let's see here again, a few positions. That's what I'm talking about this turn. Losing the back end is very easy, we just saw it. The rear end of the McLaren stepping out on traction. That's going to be even more of a challenge later on. Happy not do what her teammate did. Now into the final corner. Was in P15 with a 33.5 and is gonna be in P14 with a 32.7. Only a 1 place improvement. Found quite a bit of time. Still quite a bit off the rest of the drivers, and only 4 minutes on the clock. So time is ticking. Have to hurry a bit to try and get another lap in. Madman, the only other driver on track in the Ferrari. He's not on for an improvement. He might start his lap now or go back into the pit lane. Let's see. Straight back into the pit lane. I think we're gonna have 0 cars on track in a few moments time if Ted Cannon is gonna put into the pit lane as well. Although Slyne Williams is already going out with 3 minutes 38 on the clock. Quite early. Slowly starting to see more drivers going out as Ted Cannon is about to go into the pit lane. As we also see our provisional pole sitter, Sakir on an outlap in the Aston Martin. Let's see if he can find some more time. Try and secure that pole position. Right behind one of the Red Bulls, I think it's Vortex. Just ahead of him as Sly is about to start his lap, although quite a few drivers are going out. So he might hit a bit of traffic, hopefully it doesn't affect his lap. Here we go then. 2 minutes remaining. The final laps of this qualifying session. Final qualifying laps of this season on this game in Broke Boys. Slyne's gonna be the first one. Improving by 3/4 of a tenth in Sector 1. Went down in P15. Looking to get a bit of an improvement in. As Alan has retired from the session, he won't start any higher than 11th on the grid. It's not an improvement for the Williams driver in Sector 2. Sakira's just started his lap as well, and he's up by a tenth of a second, just about in Sector 1. So he's already finding some time early on in the lap. Can he continue that in Sectors 2 and 3 though? That's going to be the question. 2.5 tenths up in the middle sector. He's on for a great lap at the moment. To the low 31s. Now onto the back straight. The incredibly long back straight. Now into the hard braking zone. On the exit currently has a 31.4 as Vortex goes across the line. He's gone on to professional pole position with a 131.3. Now it's Sakir across the line. Can he find some more time? 30.9 into the 130s. He goes. Next up is the Alfa Romeo. Jesus, across the line into P7. And then we've got Charles in the Alpine, currently in P6. Only a few hundreds behind the car in front. Can he find some time across the line? And it's only good enough for P5. He did find enough time to get himself ahead of Raiden. Next up is Paul's race, not improving in the middle sector. Can he find some time in the final sector though? Currently in 11th across the line. Minor improvement, but not his position. And Wardy across the line, he goes into P3. Alfa Wall moving up to P6. And that is the AlphaTauri getting himself into the top 10. Sean now across the line onto the front row with a 31.1, but nobody at the moment can beat Sakir's lap time. Raiden is up on his time by 0.2 of a second as well. That's not going to be enough. Might get himself into the top 4 as Tortoise across the line in the Alpine. He's gone into P2 with a 31.012, 400ths off. Sakir's time. Raiden across the line up to P3 with a brilliant final sector. Just barely ahead of Sean. Only a few lap times left. Frenchie up to P5 as well. Aston Martin with a great job at the moment in qualifying P1 and P5. And only Ross across the line. He goes into 17th. Only ahead of Sly, who didn't manage to improve by a lot. We'll have to start the race from P18, but it's Sakir on pole position for the final race here at Shanghai. And besides him on the grid will be Tortoise in the Alpine. Raiden is going to have to start from third on the grid ahead of Sean. Frenchie and the other Red Bull of Vortex doing a very good job in P6. Wardy for Alfa Romeo will have to start from 7th. That's not going to be enough for the Alfa Romeo team to secure the drivers or the constructors championship, I should say. Let's see if he can get himself higher up in the order for the race. He will be starting just ahead of Alfa Wall, Charles and Madman, who is rounding out the top 10. Tsukizai in the first of the AlphaTauris in P11, ahead of Jesus in the L and the Haas. And then Suzuki's teammate Lil D, the one in the AlphaTauri as well, in P13. 10th Cannon, bit of a disappointing qualifying session after winning the previous race in Jeddah. We'll start this race from P14 and almost a second off pole position. Pulse Ray in P15 ahead of Allens. Ross in 17 ahead of Sly. Skullkiller and Arbon are gonna line up on the last row of the grid. Let's see what they can do and try and fight forward. Secure some good points, especially Skullkiller with the championship on the line for the Alfa Romeo team. Now going to move on to the race, and it doesn't look to be raining at the moment. I thought it said that it was going to rain at the start, but dry later on, but no rain to be seen right now. Might start raining later on. Guess time will tell. Take a few minutes to prepare for the final race of the season. So what tires have we got to start? I think it's dry at the start and then it's gonna rain. The rain is certainly coming, but it's going to come later on in the race. So we're going to start in the dry. About halfway into the race, we will transition to wet weather. It's time. Time to get this race on the way. The final race of the season, the final race on F1 23. This is it. The 5 red lights are going on. You can't see them, now you can. The lights are out and we are on the way for the final race of the season at Shanghai. It's a great start from one of the AlphaTauris in the background. Sakeer's had a great start as per usual, ahead of Tortoise and Raiden, who is hanging on to P3. We've got Sean and Frenchie going wheel to wheel behind. Frenchie on the softs actually, which is quite a gamble, considering the rain is not going to come in the next laps, and Raiden is trying to go for the move on Tortoise, with Tortoise staying ahead at the moment. He's on softs as well as Sakeer is on the hard, so quite a few strategies being played as Frenchie up the inside. Oh, that's a bit of contact between him and Raiden. Raiden losing out a bit on the exit. We have to watch out from Sean on the outside as we see Tortoise making a move into the lead and getting past Sakeer early on the opening lap. He's on the softs, he'll have to profit from this in these opening few stages and hope it's gonna rain very shortly. But it looks like everyone has survived the first few laps, the first few corners of this opening lap. Positions already being gained throughout the field. Skullkiller moving up to P16, already gained 3 or 4 positions. That's good news for Alfa Romeo in their championship fight, as Tortoise leading this race from Sakeer and Frenchie. Frenchie now right behind his team. I wonder if they're gonna fight much, but Frenchie's gonna send it at the inside or not. Sakeer going wide. Might end up fighting each other. Now Frenchie on the outside, and Frenchie takes the position away. And he's now up at the P2. Behind the other soft runner. Let's take a look at the tires. There's these two are the only two on the soft, and it's quite a mix between hards and mediums. But it's Tortoise and Frenchie out in front. Sakeer now in P3 on the hards. He's gonna struggle a lot in this opening phase. He's gonna have Raiden right behind him, who is on the mediums. Same for Vortex. And Jesus in the Haas is fighting it out with the Alpha Highball and there in the background. Suzuki Zarn trying to go for it. Charles now up the inside of them. Bit of contact, I think, between the two. Alpha Highball around the outside, holding on to P8, but there's always a bit of a gap created to Wardy out in front, who is himself struggling to hold on to the cars in front. Alpha Highball staying at P8 in the Mercedes. But the Haas and Charles in the back end of the top 10 got the job done up at the P10. Are being made all throughout the field. Armour's already up to P14 from the back of the grid. He's on the mediums as well, getting past these hard runners, although Madman is still within slipstream range. But at the front, we've got a change for the lead as Frenchie taking the lead on lap 2, getting past Tortoise. Ooh, very close to the back into the hairpin. Tortoise losing a lot of time on the exit, 9/10. Whoa, what has gone on there? He's now got Sakir right behind him. Faster lap of the race for Frenchie, 4 positions gained. And yeah, Albon 6 positions gained, so he's the biggest mover at the moment. On 20th on the grid. His teammate as well, 3 positions up to P9. So Haas having a good opening few laps right now. Look at the pace that French has got at the moment. Already a second created to Tortoise, and the Alpine is certainly struggling at the moment. And just like we saw yesterday, it's a big DRS train. Basically the entire field is right behind each other. We've got yellow flags, and it's Ross in the McLaren. He's had a moment, spun around at the end of the second sector. That's our first real incident in this race, with on lap 3, first yellow flag, and Ross is down into P20 and a long way behind the rest of the field. He's gonna have to hope for some sort of neutralization to try and get back into this race. Mormos has Pulse Ray getting a bit of pushed wide there by Arbon, but that's getting the job done. Up at the P12, 8 positions gained since the start. Looks like the hearts are finally working on the Aston Martin. Sakir is right within striking distance of Tortoise, as Ross is already retired from the session. He already gives up on lap 4, despite with many things coming up in this race, the rain for example. But he's given up on lap 4. Unfortunate for the McLaren team. Also is trying to hang on within DRS range. 6/10 is now the gap, but it turns into 9/10 on the exit. And a half, but I think he's going to be within DRS. Just about. So Sakir is using a bit of his ERS. Is he going to go for the move into the hairpin? He's going to stay behind for now. Lap 5, and wonder when the rain is gonna come. A few more laps before it comes, but Madman has had a bit of an issue. He's down to P19. He was running in the back end of the top 10 earlier on, and Skokiller was down in 17th position as well. So he's struggling as well, even with the ERS rear light flashing on the Alfa Romeo. He's now going to have Madman in his rear view mirrors. Another position gained, and up at the P11 for Arbon. And now behind his teammate in this race. Already nearing the top 10. Quite the strong start so far to this race, and his Tortoise is going to have DRS once again. But here comes Sakir on the back straight, gets good pull to the inside, no DRS for the Alpine, and Sakir is now up into 2nd place. As these hearts finally start to work underneath the Aston Martin. As now Raiden is going to send it up the inside as well into the hairpin, wheel to wheel for the podium positions, and the softs underneath the Alpine are falling off a bit, although side by side into the final corner. That's not going to work out. And the Alpine doesn't get the greatest of exits. Now he's got the two Red Bulls behind him. Sean is going to try and go around the outside of the turn 1, bit of contact between the two. Tortoise trying to hang on. So incredibly close between the two, and I think that's rain. The rain has started on lap 6. That's way earlier than expected for most, I think it is. And that's going to massively play into the hands of the likes of Frenchie, who is on the softs. Although he's just struggling quite a bit at the moment, but if the rain is going to get heavier quite soon, he's going to have a massive advantage from that. We'll find the Aston Martins in first and second. Sakir is going to go for a move on the back straight. And French is not going to make it very difficult, I think. With the help of DRS, the Aston Martin gets past his teammate. And Sakir from pole position is back into the lead of this race on lap 6. Behind us all sorts of mess, and Tortoise has gone off on the inside of the hairpin. Oh, and on the exit, losing traction as well. He's losing all sorts of places. And down to P9, as French is going to pull into the pit lane very early on for what I would expect to be a set of intermediates. He's going to gamble very early, and Tortoise is going to do the same. Both of them, of course, are on the softs. So they basically had to pit early and go for the gamble. But the rain is starting to get heavier and heavier by the minute. So it might not be a wrong call for them to pit this early on. Keep an eye out at the gap between the Aston Martins and the rest of the field, though. French is losing quite a bit of time. Turns 1 and 2. It's only going to get better for them in the next 2 laps. Like here now has got a 2.5 second lead over Raiden, who's been promoted up to P2. And then it's Sean with his teammate right behind him. Following them is Wardy in the Alfa Romeo. Ahead of Charles Alfa One, the 2 Haas drivers ahead of Suzuki Zion, rounding out the top 10. But Alfa Highball under pressure and being overtaken, and down to P8. Jesus makes his way past and is now up to P7. And is Sakir going to pull into the pit lane? No, he is staying out for another lap, as is the rest of the top 10. But nobody else at the moment is gambling for the intermediates. Except for Allens, except he's doing a Lewis Hamilton in the pit lane, going off and rejoining just ahead of Sly. He is fortunate there isn't a gravel trap anymore on the outside of the final corner into the pit lane. At the moment, Frenchie is 26 seconds behind the leaders. Behind the leader, or Sakir, I should say. Oh, and he's struggling a lot on the exit. He's losing time still, despite being on the intermediate. So I don't think it's wet enough for Inters just yet. Still losing time to the slicks runners. Especially through this section of the track, up to 27.5. That's definitely too early to pin onto the intermediates. Sakir now extending his lead up to 3 seconds. How do you join the league? I'm interested. I'll send you a link via Discord. The owner will handle it after the race. Meanwhile, Tortoise has retired from the session. He's realized that the intermediates are not working. And he's the second driver to retire in pit lane. Unfortunately. Meanwhile, we've got Alanson Sly fighting out for the wooden spoon in this race. The front of Sakira is gaining time, half a second per lap. Extending his lead as Sean now makes the move on Raiden, and Sean is now up at the P2. With Raiden being demoted down to P3. And the track still is not wet enough for intermediates. Gap is now 30 seconds to French's Alpha High Wall is fighting it out with Suzuki Zion on the main straight, and the AlphaTauri makes light work, and he's up at the B9. Three-second time penalty for Adams. Oh, and they're fighting it out as Wardy is trying to hold off Charles at the moment. And Wardy is really struggling in this race. We've got yellow flags. And I think it is Frenchie who's had a moment he spun around. And his race is slowly falling apart. Was in the lead early on in the race, switched on to the intermediates, but it's way too soon. And he's really struggling at the moment. Charles now going for the move on Wardy. Now Charles is up at the P5, and Wardy now down to P6. Yeah, they're really struggling for grip at the moment. And is that Sean going into the pit lane on lap 11? And is this gonna be the time to change for intermediates? We'll find out very shortly. Sean from the hards onto intermediates. And he's not the only one who's going to the pit lane, as Frenchie is doing something on the back straight. Pulse Ray is also pitted for intermediates. And now it's going to be really interesting. 9.9 becomes 9.6. This might be the turnover point. And this might be huge for Sean. Let's take a look at the gap to the leader, 26.1 seconds. .1 becomes 25.8. It's time, and it is finally time for intermediates. It's taken a few laps, but they are certainly faster right now as Frenchie gets himself a 5-second penalty, and I'm guessing he's going to retire from the session anyway, or is he not? He might actually not, and stay in this race. Oh, that's just gonna. Oh, and he's gonna pit for mediums. Interesting call. His teammate is staying out, which is an interesting decision. So is everyone else. Why are they staying out? You should pit. The intermediates are way quick. Oh, and there's been an incident, and that's Alpha High Wallish had a moment. And I think someone else was going round. Not sure what's going on, but I think some people wanting to go in the pit lane and some others don't. Gone a bit wrong. Skokular is now ahead as well. They're gonna have to double stack with Alfa Romeo. That's a weird camera, by the way. Sean is way ahead of these guys. That's the advantage you have. 24.7, 24.5. Just look at the gap going down and down. And Sakir must be fuming right now because of his teammate, because he had to double stack basically. If he pitted a last lap, that would cost him. Although I don't think staying out is gonna be much quicker. Time is losing at the moment. Another second is gone, down to 23.9. Sean has played it absolutely beautifully. As Madman gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Look at the gap. It's coming down rapidly. Surely the rest of the top 10 is going to pull into the pit lane as Jesus moves up to P2 and getting past Raiden. These guys are going to lose so much time and so many positions. But Sakir is still staying out. What is he doing? Is it going to dry up in like a minute or what? Or is he? And Raiden is staying out as well. That's just some odd decisions. Oh, and a penalty for Charles in speeding in the pit lane. That's not unusual here in Broad Boys Tier 2. We've seen that plenty of times before. Look at this, Sean now into the top 5. Surely Sakir must be realizing now that the intermediates are the way to go. Gap's down to 22 seconds. It's dropping and dropping and dropping. Yellow flags. It's his teammate Frenchie, who's on mediums, which was never gonna work. Basically driving a hopeless race at the moment. Don't quite understand why these guys are staying out. How much they're struggling. The intermediates are way quicker. I'd say they were throwing away a winner podium with this strategy. And finally, Sakir is gonna pull into the pit lane. Probably get himself a track limit for that. And Raiden is gonna do the same, but the damage has already been done. They're gonna lose so many positions. So we're about to see Sean rounding out the final corner. Sakir is only just changing his tires and Sean has already crossed the finish line. And Sean now inherits the lead on lap 14. Sakir, surprisingly enough, comes out in P2, but he's 3.3 seconds behind Sean when the gap was 4 seconds to the next car before Sean pitted. But sure, Sakir is going to have the tire advantage, but pitting early was probably the way to go. Right now down to 6th. So it could definitely be worse. And Sakir is now gaining a lot of time on Sean, who's been on these intermediates for a few laps. Frenchie doing Frenchie things in the pit lane. Is he gonna retire? There he is. It was a long way coming. It's our third retirement of the race. DRS has been disabled finally after what feels like an eternity of rain. Rainfall in these last few laps. And Sakira has fully closed the gap on his out lap. But Jesus in the Haas there as well. Doing a phenomenal job at the moment. Wardy's in P4. And if he finishes here and the AlphaTauris don't score points, I don't think it's going to be enough. They would be tight on points, but AlphaTauri would win on countback. Meanwhile, Sakir around the outside into turn 1. And Sakir back into the lead of this race. Despite that late call to go into the pits. And Sean is under pressure and he's now down to P3 as the Haas makes his way past. And it's Wardy in P4 and Arbon is in P5 at the moment from 20th on the grid, which is pretty impressive. Allens has retired from the session. That's our fourth retirement, all in pit lane. No safety car or virtual safety car, which is quite a surprise given these changeable conditions. You're not going to hear me complaining. The difference between new intermediates and intermediates that are a few laps old is absolutely massive. Because Raiden, he was 3 seconds behind a lap ago, and he's now only 1 second behind. So I might have underestimated a bit what new intermediates can do compared to everyone else. Skull Killer going for the move up at the P12, getting past Madman. But I need to gain a few more positions in order for Alfa Romeo to secure the championship, especially with the AlphaTauris both inside the top 10. At the moment this would be enough for them to secure the championship. We've got yellow flags as it's Pulse Ray going off in the pit lane. Going into the pit lane. And yet another retirement in pit lane. 15 drivers remain after 16 laps. Out in front it's Sakir with a comfortable lead over Jesus in P2. And then it's quite the gap already to Sean, 4 seconds, just a few laps time. It's unbelievable as Arbon is going to go for the move on Wardy. And Raiden might go for the move as well, or is he going to stay behind? These two are going to go wheel to wheel into the final corner. And Wardy is back in front. And into P4. Actually, he could influence this championship. Is Raiden going to go and try to go around the outside of the turn 1? Surely not. Surely not. But up the inside for the next turn. That's a beautiful move for Raiden. Now on the inside, we'll have the better acceleration, the better tires. And that's him up at the P5. What a move. And now he's going to try and chase after Wardy. Maybe go for the podium. The two AlphaTauris are now going wheel to wheel in the back end of the top 10, and Suzuki Zain letting his teammate past. He's now down to P10, but they've got quite the gap to the cars behind. So if they just stay like this, it would be enough for them to secure the championship for AlphaTauri. Especially when Wardy is under pressure from Raiden. And he's about to lose a position to the Williams driver. And there we go, Raiden is gonna have to go the long way around the outside into the hairpin. Way later on the brakes. Going a bit deep, but Hoon is gonna have the better exit. Wardy trying to hang on. Ultimately unable to do so, and Raiden now up at the P4. Here we go. Go Williams. Go get him. Very supportive in the chat, and Williams doing a good job in this race. Raiden up to P4. So they're trying to secure second place in the overall Constructors Championship, but Wardy is having a look. He's gonna have to fight back. He knows he's fighting for a championship tonight. Raiden, he's having none of it. And staying in front for now with around 10 laps to go. Well, Arbon has fitted for a new set of intermediates. It's an interesting decision, but probably didn't want to get involved in the championship battle. Okay, still comfortably ahead of Jesus in P2. 1.8 seconds, 1.7 between them. Both of them with quite a bit of ERS to work with. It's 10 laps to go in this race. Are we going to see a full Tier 2 race without safety cars or virtual safety cars? As Sakir gets himself a 3-second time penalty. That's crucial in this race, because he's now got to create a 3-second gap, build a 3-second gap to Jesus, who's within 1.5 seconds. And Sakir might have just thrown his chances of winning this race straight out of the window. Sean is pitting for a new set of intermediates as well. So these intermediates really must be having quite a bit of wear around Shanghai. People are going for the 2-stop on intermediates. Okay, now has to push as hard as he can to try and build that gap up to 3 seconds. To at least win the race on track. He's now got the next car behind him. It's the Red Bull of Vortex Legion. I'm right behind the runner-up in the championship, and is getting past quite easily on the back straight, and is now up at the P4. Wardy now down to P5 ahead of Tent Cannon, who's made up quite a few places in this race, but Wardy is having a look, trying to fight back, but he will have the outside line into the final corner as Wardy goes straight on into the pit lane. So maybe the 2-stopper is the way to go with these intermediates. But it's only 8 laps to go. So is it going to be worth it? That's the question. Otherwise, my other Williams King 9 seconds behind is just struggling a bit in these conditions. As we see Sean find a way past. He's back into the top 8. Let's see how fast he can close the gap to the cars in front on these fresh intermediates. Eight laps to go, and the gap is not particularly grown between Sakir and Jesus. It's still 1.6, 1.7, 1.5 seconds. And as long as the Haas doesn't get himself a 3-second time penalty, he could be on to win this race. And Cannon, the next one to go to the pit lane, along with Vortex Legion. Surely these top 3, top 4 drivers are going to pit again, or are they going to gamble it and risk it to the end of the race? Sean is now back into the top 5. He's 9 seconds behind. I wish I could drive like that in the wet. These tier 2 drivers, a very high caliber. And it's been quite a clean race so far. I gotta give them that. No virtual safety cars, no full safety cars. They're doing a very good job in these unpredictable conditions. Seven laps remaining. Sakir is staying out. And they're both staying out. They might risk it to the end of the race. But Sean has closed the gap from 9 seconds down to 6 seconds. So 3 seconds gained. Raiden is going into the pit lane and he's one of the last drivers to pit. But he is going into the pit lane with only 6 laps to go, so tire wear is a really big issue at this circuit. When you set off intermediates, Madman as well as Vortex is going to try and go around the outside, but not quite able to pull it off. Charles ahead of him in P7. Charles is on old intermediates, so it's a matter of time before Red Bull finds a way past. Go the long way around the outside here into the hairpin. Can he find the traction? Oh, there's contact into the wall, and that's a big crash. And that is Vortex out. Charles is still in the running, but that's the safety car. There we go, 22 out of 28. There's the safety car. It's not going to be a clean run till the end. It was about to happen, and this is going to spice everything up. This is going to be one hell of a sprint till the end of the race. This is about to be very interesting. Surely these two are, or these three, are going to now pit for a brand new set of intermediates. This has become anyone's game as Sakir almost running straight into the wall there. Leaving no margin at all out there in the pit lane. This 3-second time penalty though, it is gonna hurt him. It's gonna hurt him real bad. Sean is also going for a brand new set. I wonder if anyone is going to stay out. Yeah, Wardy is one. He just pitted, same as Raiden, who's bunching up these final couple of corners. He's staying out as well as Tent Cannon. These have all just pitted for a new set of intermediates. And Wardy, he is now in P3. But Lil D1, the Alpha Tauri, is in 4th place. And with Skullkiller down in P13. That's going to be a difficult task for Alfa Romeo. Try and win this. Williams has to get it win. I hope that Raiden can pull off something magical and get his first win of the season. That would be a great way to finish off the season. But he's going to have to overtake a few drivers. Especially the first two, they are very quick. But with Sakir's time penalty, it's not impossible. It's certainly not impossible. I think he's gonna take another lap before everyone has bunched up. The safety car will probably go in at the end of lap 24. We'll have a 4-lap sprint to the end. Decide the winner of this race and the Constructors' Championship. Enjoy these calm moments. This footage. The calm before the storm. So it's about to kick off. Gonna be one hell of an end to not only this race, but to this season and this game as well. Close the chapter. The books of Broke Boys. And the Setka might stay out for one more lap unless Sly can close the gap. In the meantime, the Vortex Legion has retired from the session. I completely missed that. Terminal damage. Did he just crash under the safety car? Did you? Oh, I'm just sorry. He crashed with Charles. I'm just a bit of an idiot. That's all. I did not miss it, but I think Sly can close the gap, but it's gonna be a very late call for the safety car to go in. Because it's already at the final corner. Surely not. It can't go in that late. Can it? It can! Oh, right before the final corner. Safety car in this lap. 4 laps to go instead of 3. You'll love to see it. And Sakir is going to be one to lead this safety car, and we're going to go to green flag racing till the end. 4 laps to go. Who is going to win it? Sakir leads. That was Jesus and Wardy. But immediately the Alfa Romeo driver is under pressure. Got the oldest tires out of anyone. You can see it's struggling a bit coming out of the long turns 1, 2 and 3. Oh, and there's a bit of contact between Lil Dino1 and Raiden, I think, made contact at the back, and the AlphaTauri has been spun around. Raiden has lost quite a few positions or quite a lot of time because of that. Suzuki Zion is now up to P4, and it's all kicked off already at this safety car restart, and it's fallen a bit apart for Williams and Raiden. It's not what you want to see. But unfortunately it is what happened, as Charles is fighting it out with Madman, now up to P8. Alpha Ball and Tent Cannon going for it in this long right-hander. I'm not sure if Raiden got damage, but he's just lost another position to Sean. I don't think there's any visible damage on the car. Now down to 6th position. Well, they're fighting it out behind as well. Charles trying to hold on to that 7th position. Oh, and Suzuki Zion has got himself a 3-second time, but that might be crucial for this Constructors' Championship, you know. That might be crucial. If he drops down to, what is it, P9 I think, or P8? Would that be enough? 15, 4, 11? No, he needs to finish 9th or lower. But Skokers and Pete, and that's going to be incredibly close between this in this Constructors' Championship. We'll have to see that after the race. Meanwhile at the front end, Sakir is not getting rid of the Haas from behind. 7/10 is the gap only. But I can say that Sakir is probably going to get 2nd place. It's not going to be any worse than that. The body is struggling quite a bit. Suzuki Zion is holding up this train behind. Sean is right there as well. He might be looking to go for a move sooner or later. Surely not on the inside of this corner. Slight bit of contact. Maybe now on the exit with the help of ERS and a bit of slipstream. We've got 2 laps to go. And here comes Sean. A much better exit. And he is passed and up at the P4. The big train of cars. Oh, someone's going deep. And it is Suzuki Zion going very deep. Raiden trying to go for the move. But not quite able to pull it off. Now it's a bit of under pressure from Charles behind. Moving on to the penultimate lap of this race. Sakir and Jesus are in a league of their own. It's a huge gap to Wardy, but he is pretty comfortable. Unless Sean can close that gap with 1.5 laps to go. Wardy needs to try and hold on to that P3 as best as he could, because this could be crucial for the Constructors' Championship. With Skokiller in P9 at the moment. And Wardy in P3, that would mean they would get 17 points. They need 13 points over AlphaTauri. And Suzuki Zion at the moment would finish in P9 or P10. So that would be enough. And Raiden is now getting past as well, as Charles is trying to go. They're almost going to go 3 wide. There's a bit of contact between Charles and Suzuki Zion. Armin's going to try and take 2 of them, but now he's got Madman up the inside. Oh my goodness, a bit of contact here on the backside. What's going on? Raiden now in the Williams up to P5. Charles up to P6. Suzuki Zion down to 7. It's only getting worse for the AlphaTauri team. Meanwhile, Wardy's just lost another position, a crucial position in this race. Moving on to the final lap of the race. Now it's only going to be 14 points for Alfa Romeo, and AlphaTauri need to get 0 then. Or 1. If Armin is going to be the want to decide this Constructors' Championship. That's gonna be quite hilarious. But now onto the final lap of this race. Sakir still leading, but Jesus is still very much within 3 seconds. Now onto the final sector, the final lap of this race, and Jesus, he has got quite a bit of ERS in the battery. Might go for the move on track rather than off track with the penalty to be applied to the Aston Martin drive. He's gonna deploy all his ERS on this final lap, and he's gonna close the gap, closing in and closing in on the final lap of this race, of this season, on this game. And Jesus is gonna go the long way around the outside into the hairpin. Sakir trying to hold on the inside there, going wheel to wheel out of the penultimate corner. But Jesus has got it, and now into the final corner. And he's gonna come across the line to win the Chinese Grand Prix. Sakir in the end could only settle for P2. Sean with a podium finish in the end. Raiden has got himself a 3-second time penalty. Wardy across the line for P4, Charles P5, Raiden P6, Suzuki P7, but he's gonna drop to P10, Lil One is up to P8. Wait, I need to calculate this. Wardy's got P4, Skokiller P7, that's 18 points. AlphaTauri got 5 points, that's... Oh, you cannot write this stuff. I think Alfa Romeo just won the Constructors' Championship by a single point over AlphaTauri provisionally. Well done to Jesus in the Haas, a tier 3 driver winning a tier 2 race. Absolutely mental. Incredible drive, won it on track as well. What a performance. Phenomenal drive. Sakir from pole position, could only settle for P2. And Sean with an impressive race. Finished in P3. Wardy and Skokiller combined have got 18 points. AlphaTauri have got combined 5 points. That's a difference of 13 points. Alfa Romeo was 12 points behind for this final race. Alfa Romeo are provisionally Constructors' Champions after that. And guess who decided that? It's Arbon in P9. If he wasn't there, it was going to be AlphaTauri with the championship. But hopefully it's going to stay this way, and we are not going to have a change after this race. That would be quite an anticlimax, like all the other championships this season. Quite a few DNFs. Fastest lap to one of the DNFs. I didn't see who, but not gonna matter. They're not gonna score a point for that. But wow, what a race! What a season! To get this championship decided on a final lap in the final race by one single point after a 18 race long season. Unbelievable. What a season in Brock Boys. Not only tier 2 but tier 1 as well. It's been incredible, and massively looking forward to next season on the new F1 24 game. which is going to come out in about 2 weeks' time. But until then, it's going to be it for Broke Boys for a while. But we'll sure be back in a few weeks' time. I hope to see you again by then, but this is all for tonight. Thanks everyone for tuning in to watch this season finale of Broke Boys. And I'll see you guys next time. As my PlayStation 5, did it just crash while I was about to stop the recording? Oh my goodness me. Well, this is awkward. I can't turn off my PlayStation 5 right now. I have a glitch. And it's just completely frozen. Oh, there we go. See you guys next time. Goodbye, good night. Was a lot of fun. Ciao, ciao.